my dear ones. On request, I will do a reading on the coronavirus, so about its background, like our karma, and its purpose, which can be translated as our spiritual path. What is the coronavirus wants to teach us, and also the future, or the mirroring, also what we are mirroring into this, what it wants to mirror back to us, and yeah, the future evolution. So I will start shuffling the cards, and I'm using the Majestic Earth Tarot Storm and Wonder by J.D. Hildegard Hinkel. Okay, so when I open the deck here, I see Four of Clouds together with Seven of Stones. So the Four of Clouds together with the Seven of Stones, it's some kind of stale. It's something that wants to move forward, but it isn't possible at this time. And we can see these two angels and the harp in between. So it's some kind of music that wants to be made. And I think in music is vibration, but it's not coming forward. So it's almost like the divine is sending tones to humanity, but maybe we are not really able to listen, or we don't want to hear about it. Okay, so I call the divine with love and light. And here we have the Six of Clouds together with the Seven of Stones. So that's Six of Swords together with the Seven of Stones. So I'm feeling this has to do with scientific input, and I'm going to try to understand it a little bit better. It seems like maybe our scientific medical equipment or medical level is a little bit too advanced to really have the certain thing that's supposed to happen on Earth happen. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we're saving too many people, basically. And what does that mean? I'm feeling we are on a journey, and we might be a little bit in the end times right now. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just things go in cycles, and sometimes this snake bites its own tail, and we might be at this position now where the snake is biting its own tail. And there's written in the religious text that at this time people are going to be swept away, and no one knows to what destiny they are going to be swept away, but they are supposed to be swept, maybe not to not be here anymore and to not have to endure the apocalypse. Maybe they don't need this kind of energy going on for their soul. Maybe they have been through it so many times they are bored already. But with this, it seems like we are not really getting the message. We are very smart and intelligent and being able to fight this disease in a very fruitful way. So it seems like same old almost to me, that at this point, I don't feel like the corona outbreak will be more than a little ripple on humanity's sea. So I don't think it's going to have the effect that maybe nature intended. We can see this, for example, this in many countries, there's too little dead wood in the forest, which means that species that are taking care of dead wood particles doesn't have anything to eat. So they die out, they become endangered, and then they become extinct. And now nature is trying to fix that by sending different diseases to the forests. For example, in Sweden, we have a certain little bug that's eating the trees. So nature is trying to create more dead wood to make this endangered species that's not yet extinct to have more dead wood. But humanity is too smart for its own good, so we are chopping down the trees in a very rapid haste, and we are burning maybe the logs to wood or something else, which eliminates this little bugs that's living in the tree, so they're not able to spread. and nature aren't able to solve its own problem. It wants to solve this problem with making more dead wood in the forest, but we don't want dead wood, we want the live wood so we can sell it for a market price. And I'm thinking it's a little bit the same with the coronavirus. Maybe Earth is trying to, get rid of us in a certain degree, like it feels like we maybe are getting too many people here at this point, but we are not, we seem to not budge, okay? We are still, we don't heed the message, and it's almost business as usual. So the divine or Earth is trying to make different attempts to actually make positive changes, but we see it as hostile attacks on our own lives and sometimes economy. So we are really buckling down and doing our best to prevent a mass outbreak of any kind of sort. So I called the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and here we have 8 of trees, so more messages coming in here. But I'm also feeling here that maybe the coronavirus is being spread with the wind. Maybe that could be like a change, some kind of adaptation. But I'm also feeling that I don't feel that this is a bad thing per se. So maybe it's not the virus itself. Maybe it's some kind of message being able to come true to this humans here that doesn't seem to heed the message and just kind of resisting it, okay, making this nature's attempt to create some kind of balance being fruitless. So 6 elements, and here we have the actually 6 of waters together with the 8 of trees. So this is something beautiful. It's something almost seeing like a peace dove here. If you can see it, is the wing, tail, head. So I think it feels like nature is begging for love and help and understanding. And what I'm getting through here is that we could actually help Mother Earth with this. Maybe there's a little bit of an overpopulation problem with humanity. With the 6 of Swords, I also need to say, before I forget it, that I feel that it might have been some kind of human error that has made this virus spread in the first place. So that's also something that I felt with that. But put that aside, with this last cards that we saw, we could actually help Earth by, for example, if we would, let's say we want to create peace on Earth. And creating peace on Earth, we could do that, for example, with education. Let's say that every human being born on Earth is entitled to education. Okay, so that will make richer people less rich and poor people more rich. It would take away the gaps between populations. And this would also, we can see this with people being very highly educated. Usually only when they're creating their families, they are kind of being 1.7 children being born for a family that is highly educated. So if everyone on Earth were provided with an education, and the means to control their own life, they didn't have to get so many children, and Earth would become a less populated place without coronavirus. So I'm probably going to offend a lot of people with this, but I'm just reading this tarot and I actually feel like maybe it's not my business really to do this, but if this could help someone to understand something, I'm glad to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in here for a few seconds. So this is the future, and this is the now, and this is the past. And in the past we have the upturned, which is the hangman. So we see a ship that's about to go under, and I'm feeling it's kind of the state of the world right now. that we are going through this certain evolutionary step, that either we are going under or we are able to mature and survive. So it's either or. And this is in the now. And here we have the magician. So the magician is kind of saying this, what I felt with when I shuffled the cards was that the earth was begging for help and saying, okay, so you outsmarted me, but you are now so smart that you are able to cut off the branch you are yourself are living on. So if the earth and its earth system, we are not letting the earth fix it, we need to fix it. Okay, we need to take control and fix certain things, and we need to do so out of love and not out of hatred. So we don't want to see a new Rwanda or like the the Second World War or the First World War, for that matter. We don't want to see that kind of thing. We want things to go peacefully and to people to become happier and happier and happier, less poverty, less distress. When women also get control over their own lives, they tend to bear less children. So women's revolution and to also provide females with more power over their own lives. So this is something that's in our hands as humanity being almost, I'm feeling like this scientist vibe here. So we have the intelligence to solve this, but maybe we are not too smart. So we are so smart that we can prevent the earth to solve this, but we are not so smart that we can solve it ourselves. We are just destroying the systems that's already there to save us. And this is the future. So we have the Seven of Stones. So I don't see humanity being threatened by this or going anywhere. We are still here. Nothing is changing. I don't think this is coronavirus is even going to be a blip on our radar. At this point, it's making a lot of people sick, but it's not many people that actually dies from this disease. So it's not particularly helpful in diminishing population, and I think that is a good thing. And we should maybe heed the warning and do positive changes ourselves instead of letting nature take care of this. It's almost like when, let's say that you are unable to solve a particular problem, you don't tell people about the problem which you have, and you don't share this with anyone. It becomes a secret, and the body it needs to deal with this energy here that's being stuck inside of it, kind of toxic energy. So it tries to put it somewhere, maybe in your liver or in your stomach system or somewhere, and it's being contained there energetically year after year, since you are not telling anyone about this secret. And eventually it will grow to cancer there, like it will have a physical expression as cancer. If you would have asked for help earlier and dealt with your problem and communicated with the right people or asked help from the right sources, the nature, your body, would never have had to deal with this problem in its own way, the only way it could handle this problem. So now it's kind of up to us. Are we smart enough to solve this problem in a beautiful, elegant, and harmonic way? Or are we going to let nature solve it in its own way? And here we have the Fool. And I think it's humanity kind of being very optimistic and feeling like we are on top of the world, but maybe not really having a clue about what's really going on and our true responsibility. If we are taking this kind of power, we also have a certain amount of responsibility. And then we have this Ace of Trees here. So the Ace of Trees is some kind of ignition. It's some kind of spiritual energy. I think it's some kind of communication that wants to come through, some kind of change that wants to come through. It wants us to grow. We can see this almost, it's almost like a pregnancy. This child is being devoured by the water inside the womb, but it feels like it's drowning. But what we could do is, at this point, the baby wants to be born, is what I'm feeling. And here we have the Fool, which is the baby. And the baby has this Ace of Trees, which could make it into the Magician, which have this wand in its hand. But the question is, will we be smart enough to do something that's actually good for everyone, instead of doing something that's not so good for everyone? This could, for example, be an occasion where forces on Earth that might not be really altruistic could take advantage and, for example, sell a dangerous vaccine that will make people even more sick so they can render more money from this. Or they could take this as an opportunity to sell a lot of hospital supplies. People that work with medicine and creates new medicines are heroes, of course. But sometimes or often the heroes are being exploited by big companies with a lot of money that wants to make more money. So the heroes drown in this and they become just pawns in a game to make more money. So this is a possibility here if we are foolish enough to let this happen. That's what I'm seeing there. And here we have the Ten of Stones. So Ten of Stones is values, riches. So I'm feeling someone has gotten an idea how they can make money, basically. But this might just mirroring human beings as a whole. This with the big pharmaceutical companies is just a symptom of a greater problem. But it seems like someone got a great idea where money might have been a trigger. And we have a Two of Stone here. So I'm feeling that we can have seen certain delays in how this coronavirus situation has been handled. And this might have happened due to people having financial interests in the coronavirus being spread. So if you have experienced certain, you have seen that your government has delayed things or acting a little bit foolishly, acting like they don't know what they know. It actually seems that they know exactly what they are doing, and that money might have been some kind of trigger in this situation to do things in a way that is probably benefiting for a great number of people, but not another group of people. So we have a Four of Trees here. I feel like this action is not going to have super big consequences, but it's something to keep your eye on. Because with the Four of Trees, it seems like the population overall will not take great harm from this, and that there will still be stability in the world. But this is it's really in the past, but I can't see that these actions are really harmful from divine point of view. They are being, it's people being immature doing this and gladly sacrificing the good of all for the good of themselves in some way. But in the end, they are not, I'm not seeing they're winning with the Four of Trees there. But I'm going to take another card to see what's in this foundation. We have anxiety. Okay, so I feel like this, that people are stronger than what they believe. So again, these people acting like this is, again, it's just a little like a mosquito hitting you like this. It's not really hurting you for real. For some people, it will be very hurtful. We can see this with older influenzas where people got really sick from, for example, the medicine provided. And these were more than a mosquito sting, of course. But in humanity as a whole, I'm not seeing that this a little bit malicious behavior is going to have a larger effect than maybe putting fear to a population that is really super strong and super healthy and don't have so much to fear from this. So it kind of shows you that you are very strong and that you you're a force to be reckoned with, and that you actually don't need to let people like this rule your government or rule your life. It's almost like we are making ourselves very small and the problem bigger, when we are really, it feels like almost people are being in one way untouchable, like in the big scheme of things. Personal, there might be big personal disasters here, but in the big scheme of things, people are not being affected by this foolish or malicious act to gain money and to delay certain actions with evolving humanity or helping with preventing certain disease outbreaks and things like this. So this is in the now, and we have the 10 of water. So it's the 10 of cups coming underneath the Fool. So I'm feeling this is the, again with the 4 of trees, this it's like the normal population. They are very loving, and they are very forgiving towards these people on the top that's acting foolishly. So I'm feeling a great wave of love coming here, and it's almost like the population in general are very loving people that can see other people do stupid things over and over and over and over again, and still forgive them, and make excuses for them and love them, and not go into revenge or creating war towards these people. I think in the big scheme of things, this is a good thing, okay, to be this loving. In the more short term, it maybe would be better if people in general would say to these people like, okay, so if you're going to act like that, you're not longer our leader, and we'll choose someone that's a little bit more, working for the people's interest instead of money interest. So, but here it seems like they are being so loved or so taken care of and so forgiven 10,000 times. Okay. And here we also have the 10 of trees. So we can see here we have 10 of stones, 10 of water, and underneath ace of trees we have the 10 of trees. This is great effort being done from the ace of trees to the 10 of trees. So here it comes through a new strike of energy, and I'm thinking it's the normal person on the grassroots level that's making a big difference when it comes to the coronavirus. So even if there's people on the top trying to make money out of this, there's great effort being put down, like really heroic input of energy that's normal people are doing to prevent this outbreak or to help people that have been sick and things like this. So here comes a very loving, passionate population of people on earth. This, I think, is the general population. And then we have people in certain positions, or might be, I don't know, 10, 20, or just 2% of the population being a little bit more for themselves, and other people in general seems to be very forgiving and putting in work where work needs to be put in. So I feel this is a very beautiful energy. If you could feel this energy, you would feel love for humanity. And then we have the Spirit of Clouds, which is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords here, it's a person getting a lot of credit. Maybe where credit isn't really due. Okay, this is a person that have put themselves in a power position and are talking for the behalf of a lot of people in the position similar to what I am doing now. And if I would fill you with a lot of bullshit and crap for my own benefit, this would be the King of Swords. So what I'm feeling here with this Spirit of Clouds is that there's a small percentage of the population have been able to position themselves in a way that makes people that are nice looking up to them and listen to them, even if they just come with more problems for the population in general, while they themselves are able to have really good living standard or make really good lives for themselves, but they're raining down on other people and and these people here, they have this amount of love, so they would never really judge this person or put them out of office or do something else. They might question with the 10 of trees and the ace of trees coming in, a little bit of questions here, asking, okay, so what are you really doing, and putting pressure here. But it's very sane, and it's very normal, and it's very held back in a way, and it almost feels like the population is smarter than the people ruling them at this point here when I'm reading this. So, and here we have the Sun card, and it comes underneath the Two of Stone. So the Sun card, together with the King of Swords, it shows a lot of consciousness, being able to be conscious, aware, awake. So I'm feeling this is a moment when maybe this loving population, which is 10, 10, this is 19, 1 plus 9, 10, might be able to see through these people putting themselves in high positions and telling people like, this is how it is. But here comes the truth. So here we see if the emperor is naked and without clothes. We see if what they are talking is the truth or if it's not the truth. And so truth will be able to shine through. It will be obvious to any person that seeks truth and wants truth to be able to see the truth. So that is what I'm seeing. So we can be so forgiving and so loving that we don't mind the truth. So even if we know that our government did something awful to us, we might still think like, nah, they would never do that. And we would forgive them. But we will see what will happen here with the Sun card. We have the Ace of Stones. So I'm feeling with the Ace of Stones underneath the Four of Trees that there will kind of be business as usual. But people will be a little bit more aware of what is going on from a more government kind of level. I'm not saying that all governments are bad or all people are bad. But I'm thinking, what I'm feeling here is that people in certain position have been maybe bought to be a face outward, saying things that is not maybe the best advice or it's not really the truth, to maybe milk something out of this situation. We'll see what will end up here, but I'm sensing it's money is being milked out of this situation. Maybe people in certain position are being bribed from big companies that makes a lot of money from these diseases, and they are giving false information to people. But people are able to see through it. They seem to be very beautifully resilient, so they don't really make uproar because of it. They just think like, okay, so now we know what's going on with these people, and they're taking kind of measurements in their own lives where they are not falling for the tricks, but they're not taking down these leaders or using force towards them. It's just like, okay, so I want to buy your stupid vaccine, or I won't do that, or I will do this. So we just see the truth, and we take certain measurements, certain steps in our own lives to figure out what's best for us. And I'm thinking this is very loving in a way, because it makes people, like individuals, being very they are kind of empowering themselves. They are not listening to this authority anymore because they know this authority only wants to gain a lot of money. So they're seeing the truth with that. They're not making any steps towards fixing it, but with that government or that person or this kind of system. But in their own life, they're taking certain measurements that are very healthy to the truth which they have seen. So I'm thinking people are becoming magicians in their own lives and starting to take very healthy steps that will have a very great impact. With the Four of Trees here and the Ace of Stones, it seems like people are not being letting people govern them anymore, but they are not taking power either or trying to forcefully change things. They are just kind of peacefully going where things will be most healthy for them, or doing things in the way that will be most healthy for Earth in general. So I'm thinking this is some kind of amazing revolution that's going on, because for as far as history goes, we have always been governed by people in high positions that have told us what to do, and we have done what they have told us because we believe them. But here it seems like, no, I don't believe you're saying the truth anymore. I'm not going to bother much with that, but I'm going to fix things so it becomes better for me and better for my family, or better for my tribe, or better for my society. So it's just like these people are losing their power, basically, and power are being put to the one, like the one person that can make better decisions. So it's almost, I'm thinking of these smaller countries that has certain build-up of their military. So the military is being put in small groups. So each group have their own independence and being able to make certain decisions well on ground, which making these small countries being able to protect themselves against big forces, because they don't have to go to their leader all the time and ask. They can take decisions in the situation which they are actually at that are sane to that situation, because they have both the information, because they are on scene, and they have usually the education and also the intelligence to make such a decision in these small groups. And it usually makes these kind of countries being very resilient in case of war, even if it's a bigger country attacking them. And I'm thinking this is what's going on here. And it's being done in a very, it's like stubborn, but it's also, I don't mind what you're saying, but I'm not going to, remove you from power or anything. I'm just going to do my own business here. And you can, yap whatever you want. I will take things out of that, which I know is the truth, and the rest is laid aside. So it seems like this is one of the eye-openers for humanity as a whole, to their own power, and how good forces can be joined together to do really good things, and how bad forces can be ignored and not listened to. If we trust and realize our own truth, we don't have to listen to someone else's stupid truth. And also 19, the sun, 1 plus 9, 10, 10, 10, is also 10, 1 plus 0, 1, and we have aces, which are 1. So I'm thinking it's empowering the individual in some way. And this is the future. And we have the 7 of clouds here, and it comes underneath the Fool and the 10 of water. So I'm thinking this story isn't really over, because here I'm feeling like a hostile energy looking down on the tribes on earth, these beautiful people here. So they are still on this cliff there, looking down on the valley and thinking, how can I master this population? How can I make them into my slaves? Or how can I steal from them or profit from them? Or how can I make this? I think this kind of people have a certain amount of, I'm feeling like I'm degrading these people here. I'm not feeling that they are smart enough. They are like sheep. I can rule them. So the story isn't over. They will just not wither down and die and realize, okay, so they decide over themselves now. It's nothing I can do. Sorry, they will still try to, muster up new ideas for how to kind of win over you or, use you in some way. Okay, and here we have the Ace of Clouds. So that's Ace of Swords coming underneath Ace of Trees and 10 of Trees. So you need to be sharp, okay? When the King of Swords comes here with their master plan. Okay, I'm hearing a song here. I think it's a song called Glorious. And from my point of view, this song is about someone that loves another person or wants to be loved by another person, so they can almost wipe themselves out to give themselves up to these other people. So I'm thinking humanity's beautiful love here and endurance, which I feel in both these and these cards. It's a very loyal group, okay? So they want to be able to say, okay, yes, you want my best, I know it, I will listen to you. So they want to be able to give that gift to this person sitting here on their horse up on the hill. They would want to trust them. They would want to, give themselves over to them or sacrifice them to themselves to them. So you need to be sharp with that. You need to know that and don't do that. Even if it gives you a nice feeling to just, we need to trust the government. We need to trust that these scientists or that person knows what they are doing. Try to not fall for that sense of comfort and harmony, how we feel unified with others and giving our trust to them. In this case, try to not trust. Try to be awake. Try to stay aware. Try to have your antennas out and listen to many different sources before you make your decision. So stay sharp, stay focused. The war isn't over here. And then we have the 9 of Stone, and it comes underneath the 10 of Stone and the Spirit of Clouds. So again, I'm feeling that it's almost like these two populations is ending up in the same card. So it means that you, as this loving crowd of people, need to stay sharp and take care of yourself, like take good care of yourself. And this other, what I'm seeing here with the 10 of Stones, Spirits of Clouds, and 9 of Stones is almost like this person here, or this kind of mindset is retreating to the hills and trying to find new ways to win this battle. Okay, so it's like forces is mustering up their strength. So the population in general becomes more stoic, a little bit more judgmental, doesn't get so easily fooled. And this other side of the population, they have always been like that. They were never easily fooled. They were never loving. They didn't want harmony. They didn't want to give themselves, sacrifice themselves to the general love or community or, this kind of harmony. They always wanted to sit on top and be on the hill and win over you. So they haven't really changed their mind either. It's just that you are now starting to become equally strong, because if neither wants to yield and create harmony in a situation that actually doesn't need harmony, it rather needs you to be aware and to be awake and to not get fooled. This is going to, be a head-on-head collision a little bit, but I think it's going to happen in the silence. That these people are coming up with new rules, new laws to try to get around and maybe force people to take vaccine or to do this or do that. So try to, overpower, maybe use violence or other things to overpower and get back into power. And you as a population needs to stay sharp and not let that happen, not be the sheep. Okay, I didn't expect this reading to become like this, but well. And here we have a 10 of Swords, so we now have all the 10s in a reading. Also the 19th Sun, which is also 10. And it comes underneath the 2 of Stones, the Sun, and the 10 of Clouds here. So this is a realization that many people don't want to do. They don't want to think that there's bad people out in the world. They know it's bad people, but they don't want to know it, okay? They can suspect it, but they don't want to really have the truth out. They don't want to see the people that they have trusted, stand there and realize that they lied. They killed this many people just to have more bucks in their pocket. So it's very hard to understand. It's almost like trying to understand why someone could molest a child or wipe out the whole village. It's very hard for the human brain to comprehend how people can do these kind of things. And here we kind of need to have that insight and understand that this is what's happening, even if it's ugly, even if we don't want it to be in that way. sometimes we need to see it exactly as it is. And as you can see, this is almost like two churches, one really old, maybe one a little bit younger, not the same great architecture that we once had on Earth, but now being built maybe in a similar fashion or a simpler fashion. And it's almost like people going for funerals here. So I guess we're going to see more funerals, more people being, put to death, actually, by people that wants to calculate how they can, make money out of people becoming sick and dying. So we need to realize that, and need to see that there's some people, they don't think about your safety. They just think about how they can get out their insurance money, or how they can make big profit, or things like that. And then we have the Eight of Clouds. So the Eight of Clouds is almost like a stale, because we have these populations that wants power, and then we have another part of the population that don't want to cause a fuss, don't want to put an end to these kind of behaviors, just want peace of mind, just wants to go to work and do our stuff, don't want to problem our own brain with these people making these kind of problems. It's too much. We feel maybe inferior, and I'm so little, I can't do anything about this. So here we have kind of a stale, this big ship, which I feel contains humanity and all its glory, is stuck in ice, because people don't want to see the truth, don't want to do anything about it, don't want to, change things. It's almost a little bit laziness. I don't want to go into politics, or I don't want to write that letter, or I don't want to go out, freeze my butt off to demonstrate, or whatever it is. So this is where it's ending, this reading. So it's ending on a little bit of a low note, warning that if we continue letting not so nice people rule and get away with things that they do that's not in the interest of people in general, but only in their own self-interest, we are going to see more stuff like this, and things are going to happen that is not in nature's interest, it's not in humanity's interest, it's not in no one's interest, but small groups that seems to be able to profit from a very beautiful humanity with very beautiful hearts and loyalty and also trust that they are giving away. But so it kind of says that maybe this disease is here to say, don't give your trust away for free. Trust what you know. Trust what you have figured out yourself. Don't follow instructions that you think are faulty or wrong. And also try to make other people wake up and see the flaws of the different advices being given. So that we as a humanity can free ourselves from people not having our best interest at heart. Okay, so with that, I will end this reading, and I will hope that the good people will prevail and not end up in this kind of state, because there's people not being the best they can be. So we can't get disheartened because there's evil people out there. We just don't need to give these people that much power. So try to find real good people to put in leadership position, or put more responsibility out in the communities or out with the actual population, instead of with big leaders that are easily to be targeted and bribed from other sources that have big money interest in these kind of events. Okay. So this was what the Divine wanted to share with you today. It was not really what I expected, but I think it was a nice input anyway in this, giving you yourself a lot of power over your own life, and also seeing this immense power that's coming, this smartness that comes